Good morning, everyone. Today I'm very glad to present my paper on the topic Eco-Friendly Tourism and Hospitality, Balancing Growth with Environmental Responsibility in an International Conference on Digital Technology Driven Engineering 2025. I, Priti Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Graphic Era, deemed to be University Dehradun, Uttarakhand, and my country is India. A very I'm very thankful to you to give me this opportunity to present my paper. Here we are talking about today about eco-friendly tourism and hospitality. As we know that tourism contributes about 8 to 9% of global greenhouse gas emissions and has significant impacts on land, water, biodiversity and local communities, which makes it a urgent call because now we do not want only tourism, but we want a sustainable tourism for our country. We should focus on practical eco-friendly strategies, global trends, and policy and industry responses. Now, here in this paper, we'll be talking about the critical intersection of tourism growth and environmental sustainabilities. What are the current eco-friendly practices, green certification frameworks, and investigation of consumer behavior towards sustainable tourism. While we are talking about this, what is eco-friendly tourism? It is a form of travel which is designed to minimize negative environmental impacts, conserve natural resources, and contribute positively to local communities and cultures. While talking about the eco-friendly hospitalities, it is operating hotels, resorts, or any ancillary services to them in such a way that significantly reduce energy, water, waste, and pollution while still delivering quality services. This is framed within broader perspective of ESG, environmental, social, and governance principles. Now, sustainable tourism is a kind of umbrella concept which balance environmental, social, and economic pillars for long term. Ecotourism is again focused on nature based, small scale, conservation oriented tourism. Regenerative tourism goes beyond. Do less harm to leave places better than before. While we are talking about drivers of eco friendly tourism, the key drivers are climate change and emission. It is a climate change is a major driver because tourism related transport, especially aviation and private vehicles, they contribute significantly to global greenhouse gas emissions. And the this emission is growing faster and creating a negative impact on flora and fauna of that area. Then environmental issues such as coastal erosion, degradation, water scarcity, waste accumulation in these areas, which push government and communities to demand more responsible tourism models. It should change consumer values. Consumer, particularly millennials and Gen Zs, they actively seek consciousness experiences and are willing to pay a premium for sustainable options. Then there should be a policy and international frameworks for the same. Then business cost and hotels and tour operators also need to take eco-friendly practices as a way to reduce operating cost. They should manage risk and strengthen brand differentiation. Now, what are the environmental impact of tourism and hospitality? Majorly, the tourism and hospitality, the impact on carbon and air emissions, like tourism places pressure on environment through multiple services. While coming, tourists are coming to a place, they need transport, they need accommodation, food, all the facilities belong to that. And to present this, there is a lot of efforts which need to be done, and all of that leads to emission of carbon footprints. Then water consumption is especially high in resort destinations where hotels, pools, golf courses use far more water per guest than local resident, which is exhibiting a scarcity of water. Now, highlighting solid waste and plastic pollution issues also important here because single-use plastics in hotels and mass tourism destinations and leaving that here and there is the destruction or fragmentation of habitats due to infrastructure development. That is because of development of roads, transport, resorts, etc. All of these we know that tourism emissions are about 8 to are responsible for about 8 to 9% of global greenhouse gases. Then there is an emissions by tourism subsector also. Subsector includes air transport, private vehicles, accommodation, other services. They also give a very negative impact on the flora and fauna of that area. Air transport contributes a large share due to long-haul flights and energy intensity per passenger kilometers. Accommodation emissions are driven by electricity, heating, cooling, and other utilities, especially in energy-intensive hotels. So all these are related to greenhouse emissions. Now we should be focusing on eco-friendly hospitalities. Core practices, we should be focusing on these like eco-friendly hospitalities is a set of operational practices which aim to minimize negative environmental impacts across, whether it is related to water and waste and procurement of waste, etc. Like energy efficient lighting and appliances should be used. We should use the smart room controls. We should build retrofits and on-site or purchase renewable energy such as solar, wind that should be used so that we can cut out carbon emissions. Like we should be using low flow shower heads, dual flush toilets, grey water reuse, rainwater harvesting, landscape so that we can use that water. We should outline the waste management also. Like we should be reducing single-use plastic. Instead of that, we should be use reusable or degradable plastic. We should separate organic and inorganic waste and treat them in such a way that it could be recycled. Then we should be focus more on locally sourced food rather than bringing food from outside so that it will save some cost for the transport. Then we should hotels should provide information to their guests in the room, signage, digital communication, so that the visitors which are coming they should participate in conservation. Then we know that this is the size of the global ecotourism market, which is increasing, and the capital annual growth rate is 13.1%. Here, these are the impacts of tourism environmental footprints that 8% are gas emissions, 1.4 water is consumed, 92 million tons waste generated. Now the customers they are also demanding for sustainability. 81% of travelers in 2025, according to the data, they prioritize sustainability, and the growth is increased from 45% in 2020. The number of people they are willing to pay 5 to 10% extra for eco-friendly options. Now, because people are aware, they want to, they want that ultimately they have to pay these costs. Now, if we'll talk about key eco-friendly practices, key eco-friendly practices includes renewable energy integration. We should focus more on solar and wind. We should be using water conservation systems, recycling. We should be focusing on waste reduction, circular economy adoption, and we should include local community. Now, what are the challenges and barriers related to this? The key challenges are the investment cost is very high. So sometimes the small hotels business they are not able to invest that much of cost. People they are not really technically sound. Even in the hilly areas, the technology is not up to that mark. That operators may not know which technologies or practices are most effective or how to access finance. The data is very limited. Many destinations they lack robust system to track tourism related water use, waste, emissions, which makes it hard to set the targets. Then where business market themselves as eco without meaningful changes. So that is greenwashing and credibility issues are also there which undermine trust and make genuine efforts harder to distinguish. Now there are policy gaps also because sometimes weak or poorly enforced, leading to uncontrolled constructions, overcrowding, environmental degradations, even in popular ecotourism areas. Then these goals are also aligned with UN Sustainable Development Goals, which are SDG 8 for decent work and economic growth, SDG 12 for responsible consumption, SDG 13 for climate action, and SDG 15 on life on land. If we'll talk about integrated policy framework, here recommended policy instruments are clear sustainable tourism strategies. Government can adopt formal sustainable tourism policies that integrate climate goals, biodiversity conservations, and align these goals to reduce emission and reach zero targets. They can explain zoning and carrying capacity limits, that how much they can travel. Then the incentives, the government should announce tax breaks, subsidies, credit facilities to those industries which are using the green policies. Then regulations and standards are not only should be in the books, but they should be implemented and they should be checked time to time. And most of the all community participation and benefit sharing is very, very important because without the help of community, these practices cannot be implemented. So, eco-friendly tourism is not a constraint to growth, but it should be used as a catalyst for sustainable prosperity. It is a path forward which requires integrated action from the side of the government and from the side of the local communities. Action is required from all the stakeholders. Thank you and have a nice day.